Football is a contact sport, but some players take the contact part a little too far. While passion and intensity fueled the game, these 10 football legends left their mark on opponents with some of the most brutal challenges, tackles, and injuries in football history. Let's take a look at the players who have hurt the most on the pitch, and not always by accident. Let's get started. First up, the notorious Vinnie Jones. Known for his brutal playing style, Jones made a name for himself as one of the most feared midfield enforcers of the 80s and 90s. His most infamous moment: that unforgettable tackle on Paul Gascoigne where he squeezed Paul's private parts. Jones wasn't just playing hard, he was playing dirty. While some may call it a tough approach, many of his opponents would argue it was downright painful. Vinnie's career was full of ruthless tackles and fouls, and he's left many players with long-lasting memories of his enthusiastic style of play. One of his most brutal moments came against Newcastle United on April 3, 1993, when he crushed David Ginola's ankle with a vicious challenge, forcing him to be sidelined for 7 months. Treatment for the injury cost around £8,000, and it left Ginola unable to play in key matches for a significant period. Next, Roy Keane, one of the most legendary, yet most controversial midfielders in Premier League history. Keane had a reputation for being both a leader and a destroyer on the pitch. His most notorious act came in a 2001 match against Manchester City, where he took out Alf-Inge Håland with a horrific tackle. It wasn't just a foul, it was a statement. Keane later admitted it was a revenge tackle, and Håland's knee would never be the same again. The Manchester derby on April 21, 2001 left Håland with a torn ACL, which kept him out for 9 months. Treatment for the injury cost around £12,000, and it marked one of Keane's most infamous moments, creating a legacy for the Irishman as one of the most feared tacklers in football history. Pepe, the Portuguese centre-back, became infamous for his aggressive, often reckless tackles. His most memorable and most painful moment was when he kicked Getafe's Juan Albin in the chest. Not only did Pepe's physicality leave opponents nursing injuries, but his repeated violent fouls earned him a spot on the list of the most feared defenders of the modern era. Pepe's infamous challenge on Albin in the 2010 La Liga match left the Getafe player with multiple fractured ribs. Albin was sidelined for 4 months, and the treatment for his injury cost approximately £7,500. Pepe's reputation for brutality was firmly cemented after this incident. Now, let's talk about Nigel de Jong. Known for his no-nonsense approach to midfield battles, de Jong's most infamous moment came during the 2010 World Cup final, when he launched into a studs-up challenge on Spain's Xabi Alonso. The tackle was brutal, and while de Jong got away with just a yellow card, it left Alonso with a serious injury, and the world buzzing about how far he'd gone. The tackle during the Netherlands vs Spain World Cup final on July 11, 2010, resulted in Xabi Alonso suffering a bruised rib and mild internal bleeding. Alonso was sidelined for 2 weeks, with treatment and hospital care costing £5,000. The incident sparked worldwide debate about the extent of de Jong's aggression on the pitch. Sergio Ramos, the man known for his last-minute goals, has also earned a reputation for being a dangerous player to face on the pitch. His challenges are often as brutal as they are decisive, with numerous players injured after a clash with the Spanish defender. One of his most notorious incidents came when he was involved in a high-stakes collision with Mohamed Salah during the 2018 Champions League final, which left the Egyptian star with a dislocated shoulder. In the Real Madrid vs Liverpool match on May 26, 2018, Ramos' challenge on Salah caused the forward to miss the rest of the final and several key matches in the upcoming months. Salah was sidelined for 6 weeks, and the injury required £10,000 worth of treatment and rehab, leaving Ramos' reputation as one of the hardest defenders to face solidified. Gennaro Gattuso, a midfield destroyer for AC Milan, was the epitome of aggressive Italian football. He was always in the thick of things, fighting for every ball and leaving opponents bruised in his wake. While he was a brilliant footballer, his fiery temperament often led to injuries for others. Gattuso had a reputation for leaving nothing on the pitch, and sometimes that meant leaving opponents sidelined with serious knocks. One of his most notable incidents occurred in a 2006 Serie A match between AC Milan and Inter Milan, where his high challenge on Javier Zanetti left the Argentinian with a torn ACL. Zanetti missed 8 months and required surgery and extensive rehab, which was valued at £9,000. Martin Skrtel, the tough Slovakian defender, was known for his aggressive and often reckless approach to tackling. Whether it was going in with his head or with a full-body challenge, Skrtel left many players feeling his physical presence. His tackles were frequently deemed as dangerous, and he was often at the center of controversy for the force he used in his defensive game. One of Skrtel's most notorious fouls came in a Premier League match between Liverpool and Arsenal on April 17, 2011, where he clattered into Ramsey. The tackle resulted in a broken leg for Ramsey, leaving him out of action for 9 months. The treatment cost around £15,000, and Ramsey's recovery was long and arduous. Next up, Fernandinho, the Brazilian midfield powerhouse known for his no-nonsense approach to breaking up opposition attacks. While he's loved for his leadership and work rate, his physical style of play has often led to dangerous tackles and injuries. One of the most significant was during a Premier League clash between Manchester City and Chelsea on September 16, 2017. Fernandinho's reckless tackle on Chelsea's Cesc Fàbregas left the Spanish midfielder with a deep thigh contusion. Fàbregas was forced to sit out for 3 weeks, and treatment for the injury was estimated at around £4,500. Back in the 1960s and 70s, Jack Charlton's tough playing style struck fear into his opponents, a solid centre-back with no interest in backing down. Charlton was infamous for his no-mercy tackles and strong challenges, leaving players limping off the pitch after his physical confrontations. In a famous match between Leeds United and Manchester United on December 4, 1970, Charlton injured Bobby Charlton with a hard challenge that left Bobby with a sprained ankle. Bobby was sidelined for 4 weeks, with treatment costing £3,500. Finally, Luis Suárez, a player known for his incredible skill but equally notorious for his aggressive play and bad boy antics. While many remember his biting incidents, Suárez has also made headlines for his violent challenges on the pitch. His most notable injury-causing moments include a rough tackle on Everton's Seamus, Coleman that left the fullback sidelined for a significant amount of time. During the 2014 Merseyside derby between Liverpool and Everton, Suárez's challenge on Coleman left the fullback with a fractured tibia, keeping him out for 6 months. The treatment for the injury was estimated at £6,500, and Coleman required surgery and intensive rehab to return to full fitness. These players have left their mark on the pitch in more ways than one. While football is about skill, passion, and team spirit, these tough-as-nails competitors showed that sometimes it's about sheer physicality. Some of them may have been celebrated for their toughness, but others were remembered for leaving their opponents with injuries and lasting pain. Want to see more stories of football's most controversial moments? Hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know which player you think was the toughest and most aggressive on the pitch.